Bangladesh, A Legacy of Blood by Anthony Mascarenhas, a distinguished journalist known for his in-depth reporting on South Asia. The book delves into the turbulent and bloody history of Bangladesh, focusing particularly on the political upheavals, military coups, and the series of assassinations that marked the early years of the nation's independence. Chapter 1: The Birth of Bangladesh. The book opens with a detailed account of the events leading to the creation of Bangladesh in 1971. Mascarenhas begins by explaining the historical context, including the partition of India in 1947, which resulted in the creation of Pakistan. The book elaborates on the cultural, linguistic, and economic disparities between the two wings of Pakistan, which were separated by over 1,000 miles of Indian territory. The author highlights the growing discontent in East Pakistan due to the West Pakistani ruling elite's neglect and exploitation. The situation reached a boiling point in 1970 when the Awami League, led by Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, won a landslide victory in the general elections. However, the West Pakistani government, unwilling to transfer power to the Awami League, initiated a brutal military crackdown in East Pakistan on March 25, 1971. This event, known as Operation Searchlight, marked the beginning of the Bangladesh Liberation War. The Mascarenhas provides a harrowing account of the atrocities committed by the Pakistani military during the war, including mass killings, rape, and widespread destruction. The author also describes the role of the Mukti Bahini, Liberation Army, and the support provided by India, which eventually led to the defeat of the Pakistani forces and the emergence of Bangladesh as an independent nation on December 16, 1971. Chapter 2: The Fragile Democracy. After the war, Bangladesh faced the enormous challenge of rebuilding a nation devastated by conflict. Mascarenhas discusses the leadership of Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, who became the country's first prime minister. While Mujib was revered as the father of the nation, his government struggled to address the immense problems facing Bangladesh, including poverty, famine, and political instability. Mascarenhas critically examines Mujib's policies and leadership style. Despite his popularity, Mujib's administration was plagued by corruption, inefficiency, and a lack of political vision. The author highlights the growing dissatisfaction among the people and the rise of political factions, which led to increasing instability. In 1974, Bangladesh was hit by a severe famine, which further eroded Mujib's support. The Mascarenhas details the government's failure to manage the crisis, which was exacerbated by widespread corruption and the mismanagement of food supplies. The famine, combined with rising political violence, set the stage for the downfall of Mujib's government. Chapter 3: The Assassination of Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. The book's third chapter is a gripping account of the tragic events of August 15, 1975, when Sheikh Mujibur Rahman was assassinated in a military coup. The Mascarenhas meticulously reconstructs the events leading up to the assassination, describing the conspiracy hatched by disgruntled military officers who were unhappy with Mujib's leadership. The coup was swift and brutal, resulting in the massacre of Mujib and most of his family members at his residence in Dhanmondi, Dhaka. Mascarenhas provides a detailed narrative of the coup, including the motivations of the conspirators and the reactions of various political and military leaders. The assassination of Mujib plunged Bangladesh into a period of political turmoil. Mascarenhas describes the immediate aftermath of the coup, including the installation of a military-led government under Khondakar Mostaq Ahmad, who was one of Mujib's former allies. The author examines the power struggle within the military and the efforts of the new regime to consolidate power. Chapter 4: The Rise of Military Rule. Following the assassination of Mujib, Bangladesh entered a prolonged period of military rule. Mascarenhas discusses the rise of General Zaur Rahman, who emerged as a key figure in the military junta that took control of the country. Zia, who had played a significant role in the Liberation War, became the de facto leader of Bangladesh after a series of coups and counter-coups. The author provides an in-depth analysis of Zia's policies and leadership style. Zia sought to stabilize the country by implementing economic reforms and promoting a policy of reconciliation with the international community. He also attempted to distance Bangladesh from its socialist past by promoting free market policies and seeking closer ties with the West and the Middle East. However, Zia's tenure was marked by continued political violence and instability. Mascarenhas details the numerous assassination attempts and coup plots that Zia faced, as well as his efforts to suppress dissent and maintain control over the military. The chapter concludes with the assassination of Zia in 1981 by a faction within the military, plunging Bangladesh into further chaos. Chapter 5. The Legacy of Assassination and Coup. Mascarenhas continues to explore the turbulent history of Bangladesh in the 1980s, focusing on the period of military rule under General Hossain Mohammad Ershad. Following Zia's assassination, Ershad, the chief of army staff, seized power in a bloodless coup in 1982. The Mascarenhas provides a detailed account of Ershad's rise to power and his efforts to legitimize his rule through political manipulation and repression. The author examines the impact of Ershad's rule on Bangladesh's political landscape. Ershad attempted to create a facade of democracy by holding elections and forming a civilian government, but his regime was characterized by widespread corruption, human rights abuses, and the suppression of political opposition. Mascarenhas discusses the growing discontent among the people and the rise of a popular movement against Ershad's rule. The chapter also explores the role of political assassinations and coups in shaping Bangladesh's history. Mascarenhas argues that the legacy of violence and instability has left deep scars on the nation's political culture, with military intervention becoming a recurring feature of Bangladeshi politics. Chapter 6. The Return of Democracy. The final chapter of the book discusses the events leading to the fall of Ershad and the return of democracy in Bangladesh in the early 1990s. Mascarenhas describes the mass protests and civil disobedience campaigns that eventually forced Ershad to resign in 1990. The author highlights the role of civil society, political parties, and international pressure in bringing about this change. Mascarenhas also examines the challenges facing Bangladesh as it transitioned from military rule to democracy. The author discusses the political rivalry between the two major parties, the Awami League, led by Sheikh Hasina, the daughter of Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, and the Bangladesh Nationalist Party, BNP, led by Khaleda Zia, the widow of Ziaur Rahman. This rivalry, Mascarenhas argues, has continued to dominate Bangladeshi politics, often leading to political gridlock and instability.
Subscribe and watch for more wisdom.